And now to help us make sense of the political implications, we are joined by Ed Montayo, President and CEO of Political Economic Elemental Researchers and Strategists, or peers. Sir, good morning and welcome back to Morning Matters.
Hi, good morning, and
Good
good
morning.
of you.
Okay, so it's Friday. Now is a perfect time to look back at the week that was. There were a lot of developments on the political front this week, but let's start with the impeachment first, sir. What stood out to you most from this week's impeachment proceedings?
Again, what's the?
What stood out to you most from this week's impeachment proceedings?
Aha.
Ang dami.
Well, first and foremost, our countrymen have to understand what's the difference between ang tawag dito, yung the different kinds of witness, yung anong tawag nila doon?
A hostile witness.
Hostile witness, no? And of course, notable din, no, how the defense counsels have handled, no, their role, no, and it's been quite really, I have to say, hindi naman controversial, pero let's just say it's interesting, no, kasi whether we like it or not, when you say hostile witness, what's this? May limitations, no? Wag na lang prohibitions. But itong pinakahuli, for example, itong kay Assistant Secretary, alam mo kasi pag sinabi mong leading, halimbawa, di ba nandito sa nakalagay ba sa memo na ito na itong request na ito ay ginawa? Yun yung dapat na tanong, no? Ang leading question is, etong memo ba na ito sinabi na hindi pwede yung ni-request mo? Yun ay leading question. Okay? Ang leading question kasi, it's as if you're already putting the words or already you're giving, kumbaga binibigay mo na yung sagot doon sa tinatanong mo. So bakit tinanong mo pa? Okay? Malaking factor yon kasi hindi mo pwedeng, lalong-lalo na sa hostile witness, hindi pwedeng gawin yon noong defense side. Kasi in-explain naman na ito doon sa impeachment, no? The witness shares the same interest as the accused. And so the questions really should be rather objective. That's one, no? Pangalawa, and again also with na rin tayo sa gobyerno, ano? And pag sinabi mo kasing admin and finance, sa bawat ahensya merong pinaka admin and finance, no? At pag sinabi mong admin and finance, lahat yan sakop yan. Merong sa baba ng admin and finance, merong in charge sa HR, merong in charge sa finance. Okay. With lahat ng activities ng ahensya, whether confidential o hindi, pasok doon. Bakit kamo? Kasi ikaw ang sumasagot nung mga observations, no, that are sent to you by the Commission on Audit, the agencies like the Commission on Audit. And therefore, at yun yung kung napansin niyo sunod-sunod yung tanong ng mga senador kasi hindi na satisfy yung pagtatanong nung mga councils doon sa bakit hindi mo tinanong. And in fact, sino ba yun, hindi ko na matandaan sinong senator yung nagtanong, no? Kung paano niya chinecheck at sabi niya point by point chinecheck niya. So point by point mo chinecheck yung submission sa'yo, but still hindi mo pa din alam kung paano nagamit yung pera.
I think that's
No?
Senator Kiko Pangilinan.
Yun, so Senator Kiko. So sa madalit sabi, hindi ko maintindihan bakit ganon. So sa madalit sabi, kung ako yung nandun, dapat tinanong ko si witness. Ibig bang sabihin iba yung admin and finance na pang-confidential funds sa inyo at yung pang-regular? Kasi ang lumalabas, at ito'y lumabas doon sa interjection ni Senator Lacson, kung hindi ako magkakamali. Pare-pareho ng figures no? Whether regular line item or confidential funds. So ang tinatanong natin dito, hindi ba nag-o-overlap, hindi ba double funding yung lumalabas dito? And last but not the least, yung pag sinabi mong disbursement at again no just to give you an idea, merong isang ahensya na ako mismo ang gumawa ng OSSP. Ako din mismo ang gumawa ng implementing rules and regulations. So I know essentially how it works. Okay. Pag sinabi mong disbursement, ibig sabihin ikaw yung magbibigay, magre-release ng pera doon sa end user. Okay?
Oo.
Iba yung implementation na yung implementation walang kasamang disbursement doon. Implementation ibig sabihin yung
Mm-mm.
nangangasiwa, yung nag-o-oversee kung papaano tupad yung programa, no, na
Mm-mm.
nakasaad sa PFP, doon sa plans, no, kasi hindi ka naman makakagawa ng budget ng walang PFP.
Right.
Okay? So, last but na ito kailangan ko lang susugan,
Go
no.
ahead, Prof.
Kasi ang daming mga political analyst din, no? So siguro i-correct natin ng konti. Pag kung pinag-uusapan, intindihin ninyo yung budget. Hindi po isang tao lang ang gumagawa niyan. Ang daming prosesong pinagdadaanan. At kahit na sabihin natin na ito ay inaaprubahan ng Kamara at ng House of Representatives and ultimately of the President, maraming pinagdadaanan po yan. At hindi po pwedeng dagdagan ng DB. Halimbawa, nag-request ang isang ahensya ng budget. Nakita ng
Mhm.
kailangan mo ng confidential. Hindi po pwedeng idagdag ng DBM doon sa budget ng agency na dagdagan natin ng line item kasi nakapasok din ang confidential fund sa line item eh.
Mm-mm.
Hindi pwedeng idagdag ng DBM 'yon. Okay, pagdating ng budget deliberation, pwede pagdagdagan ng House 'yon. Pwede pero with limitations. Kailangan hindi lalampas dun sa ceiling. Kasi bago gumawa ng budget ang isang gobyerno, titingnan muna magkano yung expected mo revenue, saan manggagaling ito, no? At ano yung computation mo when it comes to what's this tawag dito, feeling din yung pangungutang hindi pwedeng basta mangungutang ka eh. At hindi pwedeng yung hindi ibig sabihin na lumalaki yung utang mo bumabagsak yung ekonomiya mo. Medyo mas technical 'yan. So, kailangan
Okay.
natin when you speak, when you say something in public, it adds to how the public supposedly understands the issue and the tendency is to mislead them. So,
Mm.
sana maging circumspect tayo when it comes to explaining to the public how things work in the government. Oo, pasensya na
Go
tayo.
No problem. Pero Prof, what do you make of the Senate Impeachment Court's ruling on the issue of sub judice rule? No, the presiding officer declared tabula rasa or clean slate, meaning the rule would apply prospectively. Do you think it was fair or nakulangan po kayo?
Ako okay lang 'yon actually, Angela, kasi sa
Mm-mm.
totoo, ah, actually the impeachment court can in fact uh, come up with its own rules. Kaya ang tawag sa impeachment court sui generis,
Mhm.
plus on. In fact, it doesn't even have to follow hook, line, and sinker,
Mhm.
no? Legal procedures, no? Especially in a regular court of law, because in the first place, the impeachment court is not a regular court of law. And this is precisely the reason why you have quote unquote senator judges, no, that can interject, no, and if you notice, have the tendency to supplement the questions asked by the by the different council. So sa akin okay lang 'yun. Actually, meron pang problema diyan kasi when the impeachment court is called a class of its own or sui generis because hindi naman 'yan katulad ng isang regular court
Regular
of law.
court. Mhm.
Kaya merong sinasabi na sub judice kasi ayaw mong ayaw mong pumasok doon sa basehan ng huwes kung paano niya didesisyonan yung kaso. Okay. Pero in the case of the impeachment trial, it is also essentially a public trial itself. Okay? It follows the rules of a regular court, but the way it is handled, and whether we like it or not, the way decisions will be done eventually has, directly impacts and directly involves the public itself. Kasi ang mga magdidesisyon na elected officers eh. And again, the elected officers will be deciding on the basis also of their own political situation, of their own future impact, no? Especially half of those will be replaced or will be running for re-election in 2028. And so you cannot prevent them from making judgments on the basis of whatever is deemed to be acceptable, or what is deemed as popular, or what is deemed as what the public wants.
So, Prof,
So
you don't see any challenge, no, of communicating what's going to happen in the trial?
I think the way I see the decision of the court, decision of the presiding was this
Presiding
presiding
Officer Chis Escudero.
is to at the very least tone down. Hindi mo pwedeng totally i-prevent yan. Kasi public, in fact, pabor sa prosecution kung uh, tawag dito, strictly enforce mo yan. Actually, nagtaka nga ako doon sa nag-motion yan si Defense Counsel ang nag-motion niya. Kasi kung napansin ninyo, sa simula't simula pa lang, ang mas matinding magpahayag ng publicly sa social media ng mga pabor sa kanila, no? Hindi man yung counsel mismo nila, hindi man yung involved mismo doon sa trial, pero mas matindi yung social media presence, yung public presence ng defense. Saan ka naman nakakita? Sino ba yung nagpauso nung posting na parang basketball yung court? Nakailang puntos ba yung defense counsel? O tapos merong yung defense din, matatawa ka, no? Every after conclusion of an impeachment trial date, no, biglang lalabas, nire-rate nila yung sarili nila ng 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10. O bakit mo naman i-rate yung sarili mo na ibabagsak mo? So sa madalit sabi, yung need to communicate to the public that they're doing it right, that they're able to defend the Vice President, mas kailangan ng depensa yun as it is right now, no? Again, hindi natin masabi kung talagang meron silang ipipresentang mabigat na witness later, no, that will ultimately do away with many of the testimonies that have already been shown to us, no, by the prosecution. Hindi natin alam yon, but nevertheless, whether we like it or not, no, the prosecution really is able to prove, no, the allegations so far, no, so far.
Prof, with regard to the senator judges and their attendance, so there are multiple reasons for absences, whether it's medical leave, detention, or someone in hiding. And as Angela always mentions, an absence is a vote for acquittal. One senator in particular, Senator Lauren Legarda, has been extending her medical leave. Questions are raised because of the timing on the preliminary investigation. But of course, no one wishes her ill. We wish the best of health for everyone. But there's also no constitutional mandate for lower-ranked government officials to disclose their health conditions. We cannot question her if she will disclose because the law, it's within her rights. But should she let the public know why exactly she is missing so much of the impeachment trial?
To be honest with you, regardless whether she's going to disclose or not, it already has a public impact because alam mo naman ang politika siyempre public na public yan no, so hindi mo maiiwasan yung sabi nga nila, no, kapag 'di ba sa isang huntahan, sa isang gathering for example, kapag ikaw ay absent, may kasabihan tayo, ikaw ang ginagawang pulutan, sa madalit sabi ikaw ang pinag-uusapan. And so whether we like it or not, no, whatever is not explicitly explained to the public, shared to the public, will always be a subject of speculation. Now, given that the circumstances suggest that the good senator is facing this and that and so on and so forth. This speculation can cannot be something that will be positive or that will be to her advantage. So nasa sa kanya yon. It's always when you're a public figure, whether you like it or not, it's always your choice how you are going to handle your being a public persona.
But Professor, do you think public interest in the impeachment trial is waning? Are people starting to lose interest on this trial now that we are about 8 weeks into this? Because people are also dealing, right, with heavy rains, with flood. People are fighting for their lives, and yet all our lawmakers are focused on this. Why is this impeachment trial still so important?
Yeah, on the contrary, because of what everyone is experiencing, no, all the more are we made to understand, no? All the more we are made to appreciate, no, the significance of this trial. Again, because this is not just quote unquote political. In the first place, when we say it's political, it's because was this you are there's a particular political personality that is on trial. That's what makes it political. But essentially, it is a process of accountability, and as an instrument of accountability, no, it goes without saying that all the more that we should be interested in finding out what happens in the impeachment trial, and it also impacts on what they always yung tinatawag na selective justice. Actually, kung napansin niyo hindi na nila masyadong ginagamit yung phrase na selective justice. Kasi pag sinabi mong selective justice, there is still justice, no? Selective because it would appear that there are those who seem to face justice way ahead of the others, and that is not expected. Because in an investigation, whether or not, there are evidences, there are was this information that comes to you way before than all the others, no? Hindi naman sabay-sabay yan na papasok eh. You have to make two and two things together, and ultimately again, because this is political, hindi natin maialis na merong political interest dyan, but that does not prevent, for example, that after this administration, no, nakita na natin it already happened with the former President Erap Estrada, no, after his withdrawal as president, sunod ang kaso niya at tawag dito pinardon lang siya. At ganun din yun, we can also learn from other countries like Roh Tae-woo and Chun Do-wan of South Korea, for example. After they were taken out of office, saka sila nakasuhan ng mga regular na kaso. Ngayon, while they are still in position, of course, whether we like it or not, there are influence, no, that we cannot prevent from happening, and therefore essentially medyo nade-delay ng konti siguro yung accountability, but accountability still is there, and so I'm inclined to think hindi naman makakalimutan ng tao yung baha eh, hindi makakalimutan ng tao yung sakit ng ulo tuwing uulan, and so whether we like it or not, maaalala at maaalala, and there's always a reason to push for accountability, no? And hindi ko nakikita na nawawalan ng interest ang public. In fact, we also have to question, and maganda rin na naimbitahan din niyo ako kapag meron kayong naimbitahan na survey firm na iimbita. Meron lang akong suggestion, pakitanong niyo lang unang-una, commission ba to o non-commission? Pag sinabi ng survey firm na commission, dapat tanungin niyo na kaagad sino nag-commission, no? Bakit anong naging role nung nag-commission nung survey? Pangalawa, tingnan niyo yung methodology, tingnan niyo yung questionnaire. Kasi sa totoo lang yung mga resulta nitong mga nahuling survey, we at Peers we're also monitoring it except that we're not like other firms that publicize it, no? We're just monitoring. And essentially, if we look at the numbers now, the numbers really have been into the impeachment trial.
Well, Professor, what do you make of Senator Robin Padilla's interjections in the trial? Recently, he used an example of national heroes that, they use aliases, no? So how could Senator Robin Padilla's controversial line of questioning affect the public perception of the trial?
Dalawang bagay lang yan, no? Either marami pang Robin Padilla na mahahalal sa 2028, no? Katulad ni si Andrew Iliana, talagang nagpaparamdam na sa social media ngayon, no? At sabi ko nga sa post ko, makikita mo yung pattern, no? When it comes to 30 allied public figures, no? Talagang mapapansin mo that there is something common with Andrew Iliana, with Philip Salvador, and so on. So nasa sa inyo po yun, no, mga kababayan, kung gusto nyo bumoto ng ganon. Ngayon, at hindi na natin siguro kailangan pang i-explain kung anong klaseng senador meron ang Robin Padilla. Yung sinasabi niyang paggamit ng mga aliases, napakalaki po ng kaibahan ng konteksto. Iba po yung lumalabas sa revolusyon, talagang ito puminsan. At higit sa lahat, kung lumalaban ka sa revolusyon, wala ka namang ginagamit na confidential funds doon. Lalong-lalo na yung ini-insist niyang Marcel Bonifacio. Wala po sa pwesto ang yumaong senador Ninoy Aquino, no? Nung siya ay umuwi sa Pilipinas at pinasa, no? Kaya yung paggamit niya ng alias ay walang kinalaman doon sa paggamit ng confidential funds. Unang-una po yung nangyaring pandinig, hindi naman yung mga aliases ang pinag-uusapan. Ang pinag-uusapan kung paano nagamit at kung paano napatunayan na nagamit ng tama yung mga pondo ng tao, pondo po ng publiko ito, no? Kaya napakalayo po nung kanyang interjection. At wala akong maalala na interjection ng isang Senator Robin Padilla na malapit doon sa pinag-uusapan doon sa trial. Kaya nasa sa inyo po 'yon kung gusto pa ninyong bumoto tulad niya, no, pagdating ng halalan, kasi ganito ang aasahan nating klase ng ang tawag dito, panunungkulan, lalong-lalo na sa isang napaka-importanting papel ng isang huwes sa impeachment trial.
Well, Prof, speaking of pondo ng publiko, it's budget season. And obviously, confidential funds are the hot topic. But outside of that, what are the other points in the budget that people need to be vigilant with?
Lahat naman yan. Hindi naman natin, wala tayong itulak kabigin, no? Na sabihin, no? Wala tayong mapipili, wala tayong bibigyan ng emphasis. But, we have to, on the basis of emphasis, on the basis of interest, perhaps, our basis is priorities. Ano ba yung priorities natin ngayon? And whether we like it, we are really facing a clear and present danger with regard to China, no? Kahit na anong denial lang gawin natin diyan, at kahit na ilang pung beses i-deny ng China na hindi sila gumagawa ng kalokohan, andyan na . I mean, the evidence is rather clear, no? Ang tawag dito, they're claiming the West Philippine Sea, they're very much involved in this information, and this we've also we have facts and figures, no, in the film, that more than 50% of all the source of this information, even pages, meron pang particular page, by the way, questioning not only the Catholic Church but even propounding that it's apparently the Holy Spirit that we should listen to and give credence to and worship, no? Pero pag tiningnan mo yung underlying message, dinidiscredit niya yung gobyerno, dinidiscredit niya yung simbahan, at pinapaboran, no, yung mga Duterte at ang bansang China. So itong mga ganito pong disinformation, walang pangalan yan, ano, lalo-lalo na yung mga, pero pagka tiningnan mo, marami dyan nanggagaling. Hindi naman sa Maynila nanggagaling yan, nanggagaling sa China. So pagka mga ganitong usapin ang titingnan natin, no? Kailangan nating tingnan ano yung priorities, and based on the priorities, that's how we are going to look at the budget. And last but not the least, perhaps the way we look at the budget is not only with what is found, no, in the many in the list of the many activities that are found in different agencies, but also in the manner by which it is going to be accounted for, no? So siguro tingnan natin mabuti kung ano ba meron bang pagbabago na ginagawa sa Commission on Audit. Kasi yun lang auditing ng public funds halimbawa sa local government, no? Kaya makikita mo yung disconnect between the auditing of funds in Davao and auditing of funds now that a Duterte is in the office of the Vice President. So nagiging excuse ngayon yun kasi hindi consistent yung auditing. And so I don't know whether the lawmakers have noticed this, but definitely it is a good reason for them to look into it this budget season.
All right, and on that note, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us. As always, Professor, have a good weekend, and thank you for joining us. That was President and CEO of Political Economic Elemental Researchers and Strategists, or PEERS, Professor Edmund Tayo.
Thank you.
Thank you.